Good morning. Mackenzie Johnston with Tri-State Livestock News, bringing you your Wednesday morning headlines concerning fair cattle markets. Sponsored by Sandhills State Bank, the most committed brand in banking, and Sandhills Beef Company. American producers feeding Americans, because monopolies won't get us anywhere. To learn a little bit more about Sandhills Beef Company and all they have to offer, head on over to their website, sandhillsbeefco.com. According to Rabobank's Beef Quarterly fourth quarter report, COVID-19 has disrupted beef eating patterns around the world. Despite a 20 to 30% reduction in casual and fine dining sales, U.S. beef demand has been excellent. Grilling and outdoor dining supported consumption throughout the summer. Additionally, consumers have more disposable money to spend on beef since they aren't spending that on travel like they usually would. Even though China has been experiencing softer pork and poultry prices, demand for beef has remained strong. Also, the country is almost back to near normal food service sales, which has also helped beef demand. In the first 9 months of 2020, Chinese beef imports reached 1.57 million metric tons, up 39% from the same period a year ago. Brazil has dealt with weak economic conditions, abnormally strong beef exports, and the temporary closure of restaurants and hotels, which has all led to a 9% decline in domestic beef consumption during the pandemic. Consumption is expected to return with warmer weather right around the corner and improvement in the economy. Europe is currently dealing with a second lockdown, which means eating out is either restricted or completely closed down. Beef consumption will drop because of this, and increased retail sales have yet to compensate for food service losses. Restrictions are expected to continue into 2021 over in Europe. In Australia, independent butchers account for 20% of fresh meat sales. Through the pandemic, they have gained about 2 percentage points of the market share in the country due to consumers looking to purchase their beef from smaller outlets in hopes of limiting their exposure to crowds. These butchers have evolved through the pandemic, offering new services such as home delivery, selling prepared meals, and branded products. Feedstuffs has reported that Senator Chuck Grassley from Iowa and Senator Jon Tester from Montana have effectively included their Seeding Rural Resilience Act as part of the National Defense Authorization Act, which is now headed to the president's desk. This act is intended to curb the rising rate of suicides in rural America. In rural America, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the suicide rate is 45% higher than in urban areas. Those in rural communities face isolation, distance from basic health care services, lack of broadband access, stigmas against receiving counseling, and financial burdens due to tough cattle and crop prices. All these factors contribute to higher rates of stress for American farmers and ranchers. This bill is not a silver bullet, but it is an important step in breaking down the stigmas surrounding mental health care and providing rural communities with the resources they need to thrive so they can continue to feed the world, stated Tester. The Seeding Rural Resilience Act creates 3 initiatives aim to curb the growing rate of suicides in rural America. First off, it implements a farmer-facing employee training program that requires USDA to provide voluntary stress management training to Farm Service Agency, Risk Management Agency, and National Resources Conservation Service employees. Secondly, it forms a partnership between the Department of Health and Human Services and USDA to create a $3 million public service announcement campaign to increase public awareness of farm and ranch stress and destigmatize mental health care in rural communities. And finally, it directs the Secretary of Agriculture to work with state, local, and non-governmental stakeholders to collaborate and determine best practices for responding to farm and ranch mental stress. RFD TV has reported that the Biden administration plans to pay for farmers to plant cover crops. Conservation efforts in rural America will be a key issue as the Biden administration takes office come January. Tom Vilsack, Biden's pick to become Agriculture Secretary, will carry out Biden's rural plan, which includes being the first country to achieve net zero emissions. The plan also aims to create new sources of farm income. The administration plans to pay farmers to put their land into conservation and plant cover crops to capture carbon in the soil. Finally, National Beef Wire reported yesterday that choice box beef ended the day at $208.82. That was up 87 cents. And select box beef ended the day at $192.20, and that was up 10 cents. That is all I have for you guys this morning. I hope everyone's week is rolling right along. Have yourself a wonderful Wednesday, and I will see everyone tomorrow morning.